if we elect Donald Trump as president of this country, it won't be the same country after 4 years. I'm absolutely convinced of that. This is the most vile, disgusting candidate that has ever run for office in this country.
How can you say that when you understand the white working class? You understand, and you outline perfectly why they're attracted to him. They want him to blow things up. As you say, he's a human Molotov cocktail.
Right. So I'm here, and I'm here on Fox, to appeal to people who are watching to not do that. I understand why you're angry. You have every right to be angry. The system has failed you. But he is not the solution to this. And I make the case in the film. The film is a sort of a humorous love poem to Hillary Clinton.
You must understand the Trump voter. These are legitimate concerns. Legitimate concerns. And I think, we're laughing a lot about this stuff, and thank you, Trump voters, for letting us have a little bit of laughter over this. But I actually wrote something today while I was sitting here at the official hotel of the Murphy Theater and the Holiday Inn Express. And can I read this to you? Do you mind if I just I just wrote this, and I want to read it to you. And because I know a lot of people in Michigan that are planning to vote for Trump, and they don't necessarily like him that much, and they don't necessarily agree with him. They're not racist and rednecks, they're actually pretty decent people. And so I wanted to sort of, after talking to a number of them, I wanted to write this. And Donald Trump came to the Detroit Economic Club and stood there in front of the Ford Motor executives and said, if you close these factories as you're planning to do in Detroit and build them in Mexico, I'm going to put a 35% tariff on those cars when you send them back, and nobody's going to buy them. It was an amazing thing to see. No politician, Republican or Democrat, had ever said anything like that to these executives. And it was music to the ears of people in Michigan and Ohio and Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, the Brexit states. You live here in Ohio, you know what I'm talking about. Whether Trump means it or not is kind of irrelevant, because he's saying the things to people who are hurting. And it's why every beaten down, nameless, forgotten working stiff who used to be part of what was called the middle class loves Trump. He is the human Molotov cocktail that they've been waiting for. The human hand grenade that they can legally throw into the system that stole their lives from them. And on November 8th, Election Day, although they've lost their jobs, although they've been foreclosed on by the bank, next came the divorce, and now the wife and kids are gone, the car's been repoed, they haven't had a real vacation in years, they're stuck with the shitty Obamacare bronze plan where you can't even get a fucking Percocet. They've essentially lost everything they had, except one thing. The one thing that doesn't cost them a cent and is guaranteed to them by the American Constitution: the right to vote. They might be penniless, they might be homeless, they might be fucked over and fucked up. It doesn't matter, because it's equalized on that day. A millionaire has the same number of votes as the person without a job. One. And there's more of the former middle class than there are in the millionaire class. So on November 8th, the dispossessed will walk into the voting booth, be handed a ballot, close the curtain, and take that lever, or felt pen, or touchscreen, and put a big fucking X in the box by the name of the man who has threatened to upend and overturn the very system that has ruined their lives. Donald J. Trump. They see that the elites who ruined their lives hate Trump. Corporate America hates Trump. Wall Street hates Trump. The career politicians hate Trump. The media hates Trump after they loved him and created him and now hate him. Thank you, media. The enemy of my enemy is who I'm voting for on November 8th. Yes, on November 8th, you, Joe Blow, Steve Blow, Bob Blow, Billy Bob Blow, all the blows get to go and blow up the whole goddamn system because it's your right. Trump's election is going to be the biggest fuck you ever recorded in human history. And it will feel good. For a day. Yeah, maybe a week. Possibly a month. And then, like the Brits, who wanted to send a message, so they voted to leave Europe, only to find out that if you vote to leave Europe, you actually have to leave Europe. And now they regret it. All the Ohioans, Pennsylvanians, Michiganders, and Wisconsinites of Middle England, right? They all voted to leave, and now they regret it, and over 4 million of them have signed a petition to have a do-over. They want another election. It ain't going to happen because you use the ballot as an anger management tool. And now you're fucked. And the rest of Europe, they're like, bye, Felicia. So when the rightfully angry people of Ohio and Michigan and Pennsylvania and Wisconsin find out after a few months in office that President Trump wasn't going to do a damn thing for them, it'll be too late to do anything about it. But I get it. You wanted to send a message. You had righteous anger and justifiable anger. Well, message sent. Good night, America. You've just elected the last president of the United States. My hope, my optimism for this, Hillary, if you're watching this right now, I have a feeling somebody's going to slip you a tape of this. I just want to tell you something. I know you've been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, but you're not alone. A whole bunch of the rest of us have been waiting for that glorious moment when the other gender, the majority gender, has a chance to run this world, to have real power, and kick some righteous ass. And we are counting on you to do this. Right? I want to see what that world looks like, don't you? Where she's just going to go in there and says, enough of the bullshit. Inauguration day, after all the inaugural balls, they pull up to the White House, her and Bill to go in. She says, no, Bill, no. You're staying at Blair House. I'm going to go in here and run the country the way it should have been run. And then she goes in there and she just starts signing one executive order after another. Her first 100 days, right? Like FDR. Like, doesn't need Congress. Just start signing executive orders. Immigrants, you stay. Signed. Flint, Michigan, new water pipes for you. Signed. Food and Drug Administration, high fructose corn syrup banned. Signed. Prisons, release all nonviolent drug offenders now. Signed. Justice Department, prosecute all police who kill unarmed black men. Now, signed. So that's my hope. And after that, after she signs these executive orders, then she puts on those shit-kicking boots that Beyonce wore on the football field. And she goes up to Capitol Hill and she says, okay, I'm here to end the gridlock. No kumbaya. Who's up for it? Because the average American believes in fairness. They believe women should be paid the same as men. They want to drink clean water. They want to breathe clean air. The majority of Americans do believe in climate change. And if these guys aren't going to do their job, she'll make them do the job. And she can be our Pope Francis. Maybe. Right? But here's what I want to say this just to close out, because I think that this isn't going to happen if we leave her on her own again, the way we abandoned her back during the healthcare days. She's going to need a revolution behind her. The Bernie revolution. That's what Bernie says, November 9th, the day after the election, right? It's our responsibility to hold her to her word, but also, when she does follow through, to be there to support her and get behind her. And let me say this. If for some reason she goes back on her word, she doesn't do these things, and after 2 years of this, she hasn't done what she said she's going to do, I am here tonight in Wilmington, Ohio, to announce to you my candidacy for President of the United States in 2020.